guys! What's up? So I'm kind of in a little booktubing slump. I can't really think of any creative videos that I want to get out there, anything specific I want to do. So first of all, if you have any requests for like a challenge or a discussion video, leave them down below because that would really help me out. But today I'm going to be doing the Reader's Problems tag. I was tagged like months ago by Kelly from Kelly's Bookspill, and I thought that now would finally be a great time to do it. Question 1. You have 20,000 books on your TBR. How in the world do you decide what to read next? You know, I really wish that I had some amazing method to tell you guys as to how I pick books, but I literally just look at my shelf and pick a book. I obviously go with what kind of mood I'm in, if I want to start a big series or if I just want to read a contemporary standalone. I don't really have like an order of books that I need to read. I don't really do anything where like the first books that I buy are the first books that I read, or like I read the newest books that I buy or anything like that. I literally just pick a book off my shelf. Question 2. You're halfway through a book and you're just not loving it. Do you quit or are you committed? I'm definitely committed. I never not finish a book. Series 2, I don't just stop at the first series. I like to marathon series, and even if I don't like it, I'll be like, I need to read it all the way through. I need to know if this gets any better. Question 3. The end of the year is coming and you are so close but so far away from finishing your Goodreads challenge. Do you try and catch up and hope to finish, or do you just let it go? Well, this is the first year that I'm doing a Goodreads challenge, so I've never really had that end of the year almost completing it feeling, but I totally set the bar low because I really wasn't expecting much for myself this year. I'm already doing pretty good on it though. I think eventually I'm gonna have to bump it up just because it was very, very low, and I'm ashamed of myself for not pushing myself as much as I should have, but that's a whole other story. But I'd probably just let it go and be like, okay, whatever, I didn't finish, because I really hate setting standards for myself and not completing them, but reading just to complete the challenge, like, it wouldn't sit well with me and I would not want to do that. Question 4. Everyone and their mother loves this book that you really don't like. Who do you bond with over shared feelings? All the girls that I did the Bibliothon with, as well as a few more that are going to be hosts for the next Bibliothon. And although we don't always get along and we do disagree on books, we always just have really nice conversations about it, and usually nobody is actually the odd one out, and there's at least one person in that group that's like, I know exactly what you mean, I feel exactly the same way. So whenever I have feelings about books, I just go to them and they know exactly what to say to make me feel better. Question 5. The covers of a series you love do not match. How do you cope? If we're talking about like the graphics on the cover, I will just go to the ends of the earth to make sure they match. I will literally search like a million different places online and I will pay whatever it takes. But if you're talking about paperback and hardback and how like some series don't match like that, I really don't care as much. Like, I usually won't buy a series in paperback unless the series is completely out in paperback. Hopefully one day I'll be able to replenish those and make everything hardcover. And if the cover art doesn't match and I can't find it anywhere, I will literally not buy the series. Like, that's how neurotic I am. Question 6. You're reading a book and you're about to start crying in public. What do you do? You cry in public. Have you met fangirls? We have no shame. Question 7. A sequel to the book that you love just came out, but you don't remember anything from the first book. Will you reread the book, skip the sequel, find a synopsis on Goodreads, or cry in frustration? I will just read the sequel straight through. Yes, it's very hard getting into, and I definitely get confused a lot of the times. I would love to be able to reread like an entire series when the next book comes out. I just don't have the time for it. Most of the time the plot of the sequel will really develop, and it's really only the first 100 pages or so that focus on the last book, so it's definitely tough to get into, but I'll just read it all the way through. My philosophy is I'll just pretend like I know what's going on until I actually do. Question 8. You do not want anyone, and I mean anyone, borrowing your books. How do you politely tell them no when people ask? Well, usually people don't ask me straight out to borrow books. A lot of the times I'll kind of like be like, oh, I have that book if you want to read it, and then I'll just regret that decision for months upon months upon months. Most of the time when I lend books out, like, there's no problems, they read them and they give them back to me. But I can't get mad at myself because it is my fault for offering off the book, so. Question 9. You picked up and put down 5 books in the past month. How do you get over your reading slump? First of all, I would never pick up and put down 5 books. At that point, I would just stop reading. But in reality, if I am in a slump, I just kind of look for a book that I've really been wanting to read. Usually it'll be a contemporary just because the majority of them are standalone, so there's less commitment and they're usually just fun, cute, fast reads. But in some cases, like, I was in a huge slump the last 2 months of 2014 and I finally picked up In the Afterlife by Alexandra Bracken, which is the conclusion to a dystopian series. It's a very, very heavy book, and that got me out of my slump. So again, it just really depends on my mood, but I'll usually pick up something that I've really been wanting to read, not necessarily something that I feel I have to read. Question 10. There are so many books coming out that you're just dying to read. How many of them do you actually buy? All of them. You buy all of the books. And question number 11, I don't really know how to show that. After you have bought all the books that you wanted to buy, how long do they sit on your shelf before you actually pick them up? Again, this varies. There are books that have been on my shelf for almost an entire year that I just haven't picked up yet, and there are books that will come in the mail and I'll finish the book that I'm actually reading and just pick up that new one right away. It just depends on what I really want to read. If I'm really, really anticipating reading a book, like if it's a new release or something, then I will definitely pick that up next. But I've been trying to pick off books, not necessarily that are all these new books that I've been wanting to read, read, which is why I'm doing that whole TBR challenge thing. So maybe one day I'll even it out. But that is a reader's problem tag. I really don't know who has and hasn't done this tag, so I'll probably just check out a few of the channels that I normally tag, and you can check below to see who I actually tag. That is it for this video. I will hopefully see you guys soon for a new video. Bye!